So welcome, sir. Welcome in our uh, 1 week AICT Atal Faculty Development Program. Dear
Thank you.
participants, welcome you all in second session of this AICT Atal Faculty Development Program organized by Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University. Today we have a speaker, a stalwart of hospitality industry, tourism and hospitality industry. We all are very much known about him. He's a well-known name in the world of tourism and hospitality industry. Dr. Sudhir Andrews, sir. Dr. Sudhir Andrews is a renowned figure. He did his graduation in English literature from St. Stephen's College, University of Delhi. He then did his MBA from India's premier management school, Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Dr. Andrew has been conferred Doctor of Literature by the Open International University promoted by WHO, United Nations, based in Colombo, Sri Lanka, for his contributions to education and merits of excellence in South Asia. His journey in the hospitality industry started with Oberoi Hotel in 1971, and in a very short span of time, Dr. Andrew became head of human resource of the Oberoi Hotels and set up Oberoi Hotel School, now known as OCLD, the Oberoi Group. His long list of milestones includes head human resource ITC Welcome Group, founder of Welcome Group Graduate School of Hotel Administration in Manipal, principal Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Pusa, Delhi, member of the Board of National Council and Hotel Management and Catering Technology, and several Institute of Hotel Management of the country, member of Hotel Classification Committee, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and also worked with the UNDP, ILO, and WTO on educational projects. His achievements does not end here. He was sent on a fellowship by the Government of India to Ireland and England to bring back a model for hospitality education in India. Professor Andrews' overseas experience includes as a director human resource of a prestigious hotel chain, group vice president human resource for a multinational Arab company, consultant to the ruler of Dubai, and consultant with a British HR firm. He set up the first Arab hotel school in UAE in collaboration with Hotel School Montreal, Switzerland. He also served as a dean of academics for École Hôtelière Loisa, which he set up in collaboration with École Hôtelière de Lausanne, Switzerland. Professor Andrew has authored many textbooks and reference books which for the hospitality education, which are widely referred by the budding hospitality professionals and hospitality practitioners in India and abroad. He has authored more than 11 hospitality books. Dr. Sudhir Andrew has also been bestowed with several awards for his exemplary contribution in the hospitality industry and academics. Some of the top awards are Rashtriya Gaurav Award, Rajiv Gandhi Award for Excellence, Best Citizen of India Award, International Intellectual Achievement Award, All India Business Community Award for Educational Excellence, International Status Award, Excellence in Hospitality Education, Sri Ram Award for Best Management Thought, presented by President of India. So, I, Dr. Pankaj Kumar, on behalf of Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, have privilege to welcome Sir Professor Sudhir Andrews in this 1 week faculty development program and to deliver a lecture to us. Now, I request Sir to start his lecture. So over to you, Sir, now.
Thank you, Pankaj. I want to thank also Mr. Dr. Himanshu Bhusan Raut for giving me this opportunity to speak to all you faculty, and a very good afternoon to all of you. It is a pleasure to talk to the faculty and the students also of colleges around the country. And I've been very busy giving webinars across the country. Gentlemen and ladies, we have a very important period in time in the civilization of the world. We are at a very important crossroad in the history of civilization. And we are very fortunate to be part of this particular crossroad. There are three great events happening at the same time, and which requires a complete new mindset to be able to deal with the future. The first great event is that all the students who are studying right now in universities all over the world, including us, are the Gen Z, and they are and they're very tech savvy. And the young faculty who are in universities today are the Gen Y. And so this Gen Y and Z makes a very heady cocktail. This is the first time that there is a very tech savvy group of faculty and students who are now preparing to come into the world. And it is expected by the whole world, that this group of people are going to change the way we work, the way we play, and the way we live. So that's a very important thing, because what is happening in the future is going to be more and more of technology. And it seems like a divine intervention that that we have a group of people who are latently very tech savvy, you know, and therefore they will be able to navigate through all the technologies that are happening. The second great event that is taking place right now is that we are in the digital age. The digital age, as a matter of fact, before the COVID-19, I've been asking a lot of people as to what is this digital age, what is digital? And I was addressing students in huge auditoriums and all, and I was quite surprised that they didn't know what it was, you see? And that is very scary, because what has happened is, if I had to give the analogy of a raging river, then the digital age has broken the banks of the river and is flooding the whole world and the whole landscape that we are moving into. And therefore, digital world is here to stay. So just to quickly tell you what is digital, it is exactly what we are doing right now. And digital is the communication between two screens, basically. And that is what is digital. So if people are going to be sleeping, this flood is going to drown them. And if they are seeing the flood coming and turning a blind eye, all of us will be marooned. So therefore, it is very important that we are in a particular watershed where the old has gone off and the new has started. And we need to all have a mindset that is completely cleared of the past and embracing what is there in the future. Of course, the third great event is the pandemic that the COVID-19, which we never anticipated. It just came upon us it's called a black swan event. Nobody knows what it is about. There's no vaccine for it. And for the first time, it is attacked the whole world. So what has brought in line seems to be like a a real break in terms of ages, of a certain age and the new age, where it is bringing in the need for technology in a bigger way. Technology was never meant to come in such a speed, but now COVID-19 and the distancing problem and the low touch problems are hastening technology in our world. Okay, so these are the three things, and I would like all of you to please keep yourself awake and alert, and also to be embracing all the new thoughts that are coming for the future. And I'm so glad that Mizoram University has organized this FTP, and they shall continue to do so, because learning never stops. It will not stop in the coming world. So before I proceed further, I would like to just load my presentation, a PowerPoint presentation that I have, and I hope all of you can see this, okay? There you go. Right, today I'm going to be speaking on the role of social entrepreneurship in tourism and hospitality. And this is going to be a new, shall I say, option and opportunity to our very tech-savvy students. So it is very important that we also know that this new kind of opportunity is there, and therefore maybe drop it in the minds of the students in one of your subjects, and let them explore whether they would like to pursue this. Because I do believe that most of the students, I've done a lot of research on Gen X and Gen Y and Gen Z, and what I find is that they don't want to be corporate slaves. Most 80% to 90% of them will be their own business masters. You know, they'll go into their own business. So here is another opportunity to go into their own business, and a very important one. Now, what has happened with COVID-19 is it has suddenly put so much of restrictions and changed certain mindsets in terms of travel and tourism, okay, and stay. So what is happening now is that people are wanting, or tourists, the future tourists, will be wanting to go to very safe places, okay? Today we know that they are driving up to, they're going by their car, not even going by train or going by buses or going by air. They're going as far in a close by location, a location where is not a traditional holiday location, and therefore it is, people are looking for lesser people around, you know, and being more in with nature. So here is an opportunity for developing a new series of destinations for our country. Of course, it's for the world, but for our country. The old destinations are not going to be very popular anymore. Okay, so at least for a couple of years, it won't be, by which time people will get used to going to these quieter destinations and serving them and having a vacation, you know. So we hear terms like daycation and staycations and things like that. So there is a great concern for social tourism, as it is broadly called. So I created a particular model, which is called the Andrews Social Tourism Beehive, where we are hearing now a whole lot of terms that are coming out under the spectrum of social tourism. So we have sustainable tourism, we have responsible tourism, we have ecotourism, we have geotourism, voluntary tourism, and heritage tourism. All these tourisms have certain basic principles which cannot be compromised, but the different tourisms have a certain kind of a focus. So the sustainable tourism is about continuous process of tourism, evolution and involvement, and uplift of the local community and governance, okay? So it's giving a lot of importance to local communities because now we are planning to go into new destinations which were not there before. Responsible tourism is all about consuming local services in tourism in a responsible manner, you know. So we don't litter, we don't bring in drugs into the environment, we don't chop the trees and spoil the flora and fauna, and we don't also harass the local people and all those kind of things. So we go and visit these places in a very respectful and responsible manner when we go to these places. Then ecotourism is again focusing, protecting the local flora and fauna. Very simple. And therefore, all the initiatives that are being taken for ecotourism will be focused on this particular thing, including pollutions and potable water and all those kind of things. Then geotourism focuses on promoting the geographic wonder of a place. Classic examples are the Niagara Falls, classic examples are the Grand Canyon, and closer to home, classic example is of the Mount Everest. These are the new, shall I say, the geographic wonders. And a whole ecosystem develops around this geographic wonder. But all the other tourism things that we are talking about comes into play, and a greater respect for destinations. If you see the Everest, you would have seen pictures which are so horrifying to see. A lot of people wanting to climb the Everest, littering the whole beautiful snowscape of the Himalayas, and literally abusing nature there. We don't want that. And the future is saying to us that, listen, respect your nature, okay? And also, India itself, you'll be surprised, has its own Niagara Falls in Kerala. I was shocked. It just looked like, when I saw a picture of Niagara, of this, I thought it was Niagara Falls, but it is actually in India, in Kerala. Similarly, there is a Grand Canyon of a few miles away from Bangalore with the same kind of this thing, and a river going through, and the huge stark cliffs of the Grand Canyon. I mean, here is an opportunity for students to go out, social entrepreneurs, to go out and build tourism sites, you know, tourism around these geographic wonders that are there. And of course, in my research with the of the Gen Y and Z, I have realized that they give a lot of importance to a social cause. They don't want to be corporate slaves, and they don't want to be working just blindly, you know. This generation want to do something worthwhile to society and communities. So that's a wonderful thing. And many of the students and also those who just pass out of college take sabbaticals to go and do some voluntary work. It's built in their DNA that they want to do this kind of thing. So that's very good. I mean, that's because now they have realized also that the planet is theirs now, and all the havoc that our generations have done with the planet, they have to set it right. And so they are positioning themselves into correcting what has gone wrong. So this is one thing that is there for the students. That's for the Gen X and Y in their attitude. Then We had the heritage tourism, which is promoting and protecting heritage sites and culture. Okay, so all these things are there, and the players who develop these various initiatives are basically there are many more, but broadly speaking, there is the government, there are the private social entrepreneurs, of which I'm talking about. There's the local community and stakeholders and the local governments. Now, basically, I will be sharing what are those principles that these people need to do, okay? Uh, so we come to now the principles of social tourism, okay? These are basically open to all those sustainable, eco, everything, it covers everybody. And therefore, we need to have these principles that guide all these social tourisms that are involved. So we have to minimize negative impact on economic, environmental, social well-being of a community. That is number one. That's very important. Generate greater economic benefit of the local community, improving working conditions, and introducing best practices. Involve local people in decisions affecting their lives. Conserve the natural and cultural heritage of the community. Promote immersive involvement of visitors in local heritage sites. Involve the challenged people of the community to find livelihoods. So we are not only looking at a community in a small way, we are looking at it in a broader spectrum, and even giving people who are challenged in physically or mentally a way to earn a livelihood. Encourage sensitivity and respect to the local community. That means all our marketing and all would have to tell this to the tourists who visit these sites. So these are the basic principles of social tourism. Now, there are certain guidelines. The guidelines are economic responsibility, assess economic impacts on communities, maximize linkages and minimize leakages of a destination, develop quality products to enhance a destination. They're not saying do, jugaad kind of thing. They say make those destinations worth it. Market the natural, cultural, and social integration of a destination. Adopt suitable business practices and support the local MSMEs. Okay, so these are the small, micro, small, and medium enterprises. So that is the economic responsibility of all these social programs. Then we have the social responsibility, and that is actively involve local people in planning, decision making, and building, making tourism an inclusive social experience for local visitors. Now, I'll be coming with certain slides, but the future tourist, which consists of actually Gen Y and Z, are going to be those who they're not interested in products. Like when I went abroad, I used to have a list of things I want to buy, mostly given by my wife, of course, but a list of things that you have to buy. But no, this Gen X and Gen Y are a different kettle of fish altogether. Gen X, Y, and Z. What is it? They don't want to gather products. I think India has all these products. What they want to do is have an experience, a genuine experience. And I got a slide ahead which will tell you as to how we generate that experience. Then also combat sexual exploitation, especially children. It is horrible to see how children are being exploited and in our culture, and Therefore, we have a responsibility to set values and things right also. Sensitivity to host culture and improve health and education. So why I'm saying all these things is that a social entrepreneur is going to be one who will have this checklist of things that they will tick off when they are doing an investment there. Then environmental responsibility, assess the environmental impact, use resources sustainably, sustain natural diversity, raise the capacity of stakeholders, ensuring best practices. Now, for example, if you go to hill stations today, there is overcrowding, and what happens is there's no water. So if there's no water, then how is that destination going to survive? And how are the locals going to survive? And if you see all the hills leading up to Shimla, they're all bald. That meaning all the trees have been cut. Okay, so that is complete abuse of a destination. Okay, so the same goes elsewhere. Of course, I think in the East, I'm very happy to see the forest and the foliage and all still there, and we need to keep it there, to become a new place where everybody wants to go, because it is got more of nature and things like that. Okay. And raise the capacity of stakeholders, ensuring best practices. So now I come so far in telling you what is the social enterprises available, and we now come to who is a social entrepreneur. A social entrepreneur is a person or a startup who takes risks and pursues unique solutions to solve a community's economic, social, cultural, and environmental problems by fostering social value and economic creation. Okay? Now, it's a very complicated, I've got some more definitions a little later. But what is the role of the social entrepreneur is to go to an untouched place, or even some, if it is already reasonably visited, and convert that into a self-sustaining community. It is not there to exploit that community. It is to help the community to navigate themselves in their lives and be economically strong. This is what is a social entrepreneur. Now, the social entrepreneur, to put it in a different way, is the person who will go and do all the things that he needs to do to this community and destination, and go away, leaving a very prosperous, shall we say, a very prosperous community. Okay, so this is what it is. The other thing, sustainable and the eco and all, is basically a preventive thing. It's saying don't litter, don't do this, don't do that. Okay, but when we are coming to social entrepreneurship, we are saying that after we leave, we are leaving behind a very, very healthy community who are able to manage themselves and give a good experience to tourists. Okay, so that's from the tourism point of view. Okay, here now, what is tourism social entrepreneurship? That's the basic topic that I've got. It's not just social entrepreneurship, but tourism social. A process that uses tourism to create innovative solutions in social, environmental, economic problems in a destination by mobilizing the ideas, capacities, resources, social agreements within or outside the destination required for its sustainable social transformation. Now, what it says involves a whole lot of things, okay? It is not only, it means, I'll be giving a slide as to what all it will be involved, but it will involve infrastructure, it will involve training, uplifting the skills of the people out there, helping them to create their own businesses towards the tourism cause, okay? Helping them to provide the different entertainment value to customers who come there, etc., etc. It's a much more deeper involvement in the development of a destination. So now here are some more definitions which may apparently make things a little simpler as to what the destination is. It's the process of identifying, evaluating, and creating opportunities of value creation by means of commercial and market-driven resources, natural resources. Another definition is equally distribute social and economic wealth to neglected communities. Tourism as a vehicle of development by government and other development agencies. Eradicating societal problems through economic and social value creation. Now, at the present time, like in India, this is the right time when we are concerned about communities, we are concerned about this. As a matter of fact, the government during this COVID-19 gave it completely to underprivileged communities. You know, I mean, so that was top of their minds for their survival. So you had the migrants, you had the Manrega and all those things, you know, and the MSMEs, you know. So now so the time and attitude is right to look at helping our respective communities to develop. Now, one may ask to me that is it purely social, or can a person make money out of it? Of course you could make money. It can be a very economic enterprise if you want it. If you want it to be purely a social enterprise, it can. But if you want to make it an economic, you can, okay? As long as you're not exploiting the local public, okay? That's basically what it is. So let's look at the qualities of a social entrepreneur. One, of course, the picture out here is of Mr. Muhammad Yunus from Bangladesh. And he had set up a Grameen bank. That means soft loans for farmers, and a complete network of Grameen banks to help them tide over immediate critical problems and issues. And he got a Nobel Prize, Peace Prize for it, you know. So he's here is a social entrepreneur who's done that, you know, for the communities. So one has to be entrepreneurial in attitude. And one thing I would like to say to all you faculty is that please give importance to entrepreneurship wherever whichever course you are handling. Because 80%, according to me, and I'm going on the data that my immediate 3 batches of people whom I have trained or educated, what kind of stance they have taken. And 80% of them have gone into their own business. Own business means not their family business, but they have created their own business. Because doing a business in their age, in their technology, is so easy as against our time, you know. So therefore, the new time has got a lot of opportunities for starting one's own business. All one needs is a little room in the corner of your house, and you have a good Wi-Fi connection and a laptop, and you're in business. Depends, you know, what business you are in. So, and the business can be worldwide. I mean, that's the beauty of it. It is not just in India or your local state or wherever. It could be all over the world. So there you have. So somebody could make a model of social entrepreneurship, not only in India, but can export that skill to anywhere in the world. I mean, I'm sure the whole world has certain, because this need for new destinations has come up, and therefore everybody will be having the same need. So it doesn't mean that the world for you, uh, for the students is just their own country. It is the world, literally. I mean, that's a great opportunity that and fortune that they have. They have to be creative and innovative, make social impact, have an ethical fiber, takes risks, is a visionary, has a missionary zeal, and a change agent. These are the qualities required of somebody who wishes to become a social entrepreneur. So if one does have, uses psychometric tests and finds out that they have 8 out of 10 of these things, then they are very valuable information to go into social entrepreneurship. Okay. Now, let us see what are the different examples of social entrepreneurship one can do at a destination. Okay. One can provide microfinancing like our friend Mr. Mohammed Yusuf did. He created the Grameen Bank, okay, microfinancing, educational programs, banking services, orphan children care, clean drinking water, road connectivity, legal services, social stigmas, training in certain in values and social stigmas, human rights, alternative energy, hygiene and sanitation, healthcare, Wi-Fi connectivity, job skilling, green initiatives, job creation for youth, poverty alleviation, and child sexual abuse. Now, a social entrepreneur may choose to be an expert on one of these things, okay, and join a bigger team of people and say, okay, my job is going to be on hygiene and sanitation, and I'm going to give my advice and whatever it is for a better hygiene and sanitation setup. Or maybe doing about finding good potable water to drink. Or a social entrepreneur could take up all these as a major project involving a lot of other people too. Okay, so it's not alone. It's a collaboration between different forces who's bringing down these kind of social benefits for the tourism cause. Okay, so creating destinations without forgetting the local community. So that's what it is. So how do they raise funds? Here's another person who is, you can say is a classic social reformer and a social entrepreneur who was his Mother Teresa, the late Mother Teresa, and her Nobel Peace Prize also she got. And in her case, I remember flying in a plane, and all she did when the plane was landing is call the air hostess. She was sitting just across the aisle from me. And she says, can you make a plastic bag of all the buns and food that was left behind by the passengers in their trays? Now there she was. She was a Nobel Prize winner already. She's sitting there, and still in her mindset, she's thinking about the people and taking all the, the food you get, the bread buns and things like that. which are not eaten. And she says, put them together in a plastic bag. I'll take it to my the needy people. I mean, that's a, I mean, way kind of a different kind of a social, classical social thinking. But in tomorrow's world, I mean, one can be like that, or one can raise funds, by crowdfunding, having a grand patron, run a commercial enterprise, social network. As a matter of fact, now a lot of, shall I say, celebrities have so much of money. Okay, if you see, especially Hollywood stars now, and some of the Indian stars, they're looking for a cause. They're looking for a cause where, because they've got plenty of money and they can use that money to help a cause and also get the benefit of public appreciation. That here's a person not only making money, but is helping the poorer or the socially weaker sections of society. So you could find one grand patron like that, or run a commercial enterprise which will finance the plans for the social destination. Social networking, appealing to people on the social media and raising those things. Collaboration with other similar kind of thinking people, or simply just having this point of sales collection boxes. If you go to a medical store or you go to a checkout counter somewhere, you will find a box, with a red cross on it, and you say put money in there. So these are the various ways that funds can be raised, and also there is if there is a financial model to it, there are a lot of angel investors, or you can call them venture capitalists, who are looking for good ideas. But obviously, these venture capitalists wants a return, and therefore you would create a model that would give them a return also. Okay, so there you go. So the conceptual framework of tourism social is given like this. That means you're looking at all these factors, like nature, finances, political, social, human, cultural, and buildings and infrastructure. Okay, so all these things are involved, but things that are not normally found, but it is there, is the solidarity of the people themselves. They have a lot of enmity amongst themselves. So one of the tasks for a social entrepreneur would be to go and be the peacemaker, so that make all the people be together in this cause of promoting a destination. So that is one, and of course the government will play a very big part. Okay, and look at marketing opportunities for those people. It could be in the form of handicrafts, it could be in the form of souvenirs, it could be in the form of costumes, it could be in the form of dance or whatever, Now, who all are involved is very important. So when you're creating a destination, a tourism destination, or improving on one which is not yet fully developed, there is the social entrepreneur, the community leaders, very important, because the governance has to go back to them. The governance of that community has to go back to them. It would be the state tourism department. Why? Because they are the ones who would provide the infrastructure and other things like roads, connectivity, electricity, water, potable water, and many more, Wi-Fi, because tourists, this generation want a Wi-Fi wherever, even if they're sitting on the top of Mount Everest, they want to have a Wi-Fi out there. Okay, so that's the way it is. Then vendors who will sell the local things, they will prepare the locals to become vendors of various souvenirs and various facilities, or become guides, or become operators for certain things, you know. Then skilled trainers, you need training for those to uplift the skills of the people. Providers of tourist experience, these are the people who will, as I told you, the Gen X, Y, and Z, they are looking for experience rather than the product. So they are looking for providers who will do that. That means somebody who's going to do local dancing for them, local food for them, uh, and also providing other acts for them, like you know, like magic shows and things like that, puppet shows, and also providing them this facility of costuming them. You know, a lot of people, I remember when I used to go to Kashmir, in the good old days, when I went to Kashmir for a holiday, one of the things was for the girls is to put on their clothes, you know, with the head and the lovely beads and all that, and take a photograph. Okay, now that's a big thing. So somebody could do that business, you know, there, and have these costumes of different sizes there, and the people will go there and wear that costume and take a photograph and say, I've been there. So these are also providers of tourist experience, including guides, and like the Sherpas in the Everest climb, they are the providers of tourist experience, you know. So there you go. Then the local police, telecom. I remember one person, a good friend of mine. He went to a heritage place, and he wanted to develop that heritage place when a group of thugs came with their guns and said to him that you cannot have this heritage place. So obviously he felt that they were taking away something from them. So he told them, why don't you become, supposing I have this heritage, why don't you become the security of this heritage? And we'll pay you. Suddenly these gundas, who are very like thugs, you know, with guns and all that, they liked the idea. And they suddenly became uniformed and all that. So those kind of things, you can make the local people the police. And by Jove, they will do a good job if they're given proper training and all that. Then telecom providers, because you have to, whichever destination, provide Wi-Fi connections. Then you have the intermediaries. Intermediaries are people who would come in when there is no skill available of that intermediate. You know, if there is no skill locally, then somebody from outside can come and provide that skill, you know, that kind of thing. For example, making brochures, okay, printed material. Maybe the local people may not have the skills to do that. And so you get somebody from outside to do it. He makes that and these people sell it. Souvenir makers, costume makers, dance and music directors, chefs to standardize local food, conservationists, hotel investor and builders. Obviously, you have to have hoteliers also there. For stay, water conservationists, hospitals and clinics, and other investors. Okay, so all these people are involved in a project like that, which is a holistic kind of involvement of people, you know, of the local people. So you would have learned by now that the key thing is the local community. That's the overriding factor. Okay, when it comes to social entrepreneurship, it is the local community who gets the maximum focus. Okay. All right. Now, before one goes through that, there is a lot of, if you looked at that earlier chart I had given you, or diagram I had given you, there are a lot of things that have to be studied before it can be done, you know. So there is the natural capital, including its geography, natural environment and resources, including its landforms, plants, fauna, many cases compose the core tourist attractions at a destination. So you would like to have many people. Now, there's another thing about Gen Y and Z who are going to be your customers in future. They like excitement. One is experience, but they like excitement. So while they're having the experience, they want a place where they can do bungee jumping, for example, or rapid, what do you call, rapid boating or whatever that is called, rapid river craft experience. So they are very adventurous. So one could create nature trails for them. Maybe I know one very great example is a place in which is undeveloped really in the Nepal and in the Nepal border and India border, where there is only one place in the world where you get the mahashar fish. Okay, it's a specialized fish that you only get there. And all the supposed professional or enthusiastic anglers come from all over the world there. Okay, so they bring their four-wheel drives. Now they can't reach that spot because it's in the valley, and the valley has a very rough river, and they have to stay in camps out there. And the climb from the top down to the valley is a very treacherous and going down. So you need to have ponies, you have to have pony drivers, you have to have camp fitters, and all those things. So it is full. The anglers get into the middle of the water, stand on a rock, they fish for this mahashar, and guess what? They take a photograph and throw it back into the river. They don't kill them. Maybe one of them, they will, for the night dinner, they may fry or grill one of the fish. But generally, it is catching those fish, which is their enjoyment. Now, look at if there is a social entrepreneur, what a lot of opportunity there is to develop that whole place. You know, right now it's not developed. Somebody is providing tents and cots for the tent, fire lanterns, and things like that. And yet, all over the world, people come there. Germans, particularly West German people, come. Then built capital made physical infrastructures like what are the buildings, roads, and other facilities that will support that destination. Financial capital, monetary resources, that's understandable. And political capital entails the power dynamics and relations between institutions within a community, including tourism, social entrepreneurs' ability to influence local decisions. Now, what we have said really as a guiding principle was that the local community are going to be making the decisions about that destinations. Okay. Now, to educate the decision makers and to be able to tell the benefits of it is a very big activity of a social entrepreneur. You know, so that has to be done. Then the social capital, social structures and networks within a community, ability to interact with tourism, social entrepreneurs, and bonding and bridging gaps and fights and things like that. Cultural capital, communities' way of life, including their custom, that has to be harnessed and that impact their worldview actions. Human capital, communities' talents, their education and skills that will enable them to utilize and improve their assets, outsources that are not present in the locality and perform specific roles in TX. Okay, so this whole evaluation has to be done. It's quite possible that after this evaluation is done, there is it's not, it comes out as a non-profitable destination. So so therefore then they will look to another destination where which it can be done. Okay, now the key benefits of local community participation in tourism planning is better income, influence on decisions, improvement of infrastructure, upgrade of knowledge and skills of locals, showcasing cultural traditions and values, taking advantage of natural resources, needs of the community, enhancing pride and esteem, employment creation, and sustainability. These are all the benefits. In other words, what it says is a social entrepreneur, when he leaves that particular place, he or she will then leave a well established community who can look after basically. All right. Could you have that mics muted? Yeah, thank you. Now, the bottlenecks that arise for a social entrepreneur, first is accessibility to that place, government red tape. So if you're involving the government will have its say. You have to involve the government, of course. Ignorance of tourism by locals. Locals will say, why should we have tourism? Why should we have visitors? We are happy. Okay. They're not seeing the potential of more economic benefits and infrastructure that could come their way. Protection of cultural heritage. Investors driven by profit motive. Rivalries within communities. Poor infrastructure. Potable drinking water. Nearby clinic, hospital. Absence of accommodation for tourists, alternative food, and no skills. So this is what are the problems that could come out of bottlenecks that could come out of this. And a social entrepreneur, unless he or she has that vision and that drive, yes, I'm going to overcome all these problems and manage them, you know, that I will be able to create a destination for that community. Okay. Then I want to just give you a little idea of the kind of tourism demands of X, Y, and Z generations of the future. We used to go and see architecture, we used to see buildings, historical sites, and all that. But the future, you will see none of that is here. The future and a lot of this can be done through these offbeat destinations too. Okay. So you have volunteer tourism, education, travel, Facebook, friends, and tourism. By the way, this generation will take a sabbatical to travel. They want to go around the world and travel. They don't want to, like in our generation, we used to wait till when we became old and hobbling around to spend our pensions on going and seeing various places. This generation wants to see things now. Okay, they said, we are not going to wait, we want to go now. They'll take loans for this trip and all that, but they'll go. Okay. Then genealogical tourism, where people are You see, there are a lot of Indians living abroad, and we have the third generation who have never seen India or never met India, and there's a whole lot of interest in going back to India and catching up with their cousins and their roots, you know. This is a new thing that is coming up. Bucket list travel, people have a bucket list. Spiritual tourism, that's very great opportunity for India, particularly. Cruises and trains, let's put that aside. Medical tourism, offbeat sports tourism, I told you about this Mahashare thing. Health and wellness, very big, very popular. Terminal tourism, this group is crazy. I mean, they go from one air terminal to another just to experience the different terminals. Because now terminals are huge cities by themselves, you see. So that's another thing. Adventure tourism, wildlife tourism, destination wedding tourism, mystery tourism. Now, there's sports tourism. You know, if you have IPLs or the World Cup or the World, how many people travel just to see those matches and things like that. That's big. Then you have the dark tourism. There are people who are trying to catch up some difficult times that their fathers or their parents or they had. For example, the Jews want to reconstruct, and they have done it, reconstruct that experience of going in cattle trucks before they were sent to death chambers, you know. So they get into these cattle trucks and they have the sound and smells and the conversations that they used to hear, the dogs barking. They want to go through that whole experience, including walking into those chambers, you know. So that is dark tourism. Also people who have been through war. So people, war veterans would like to go and visit, visit those battlegrounds where they lost a lot of friends and things like that. Then, of course, music is a very big thing. Rock electronic music festivals, huge. You can see there are 600, 700 people, 700,000 people, sorry. And food tourism is also there. So these are the new kind of things that are coming up, which were not there before, you know, and they're coming here. And we could fit these into the destinations where which you may be attending to, you know. So now we talked about experience. This is a very important slide. We talked about this generation wanting experience. Now, what is experience in tourism? Tourism experience. The core elements of experience are attention, involvement, engagement, immersion, and cognitive absorption. So it becomes a learning experience for them. And they are constantly wanting to learn. Okay? And when I say involvement, engagement means that now this generation don't want to stay in fancy hotels. They will go and want to stay in the hut where the villager stays. And I experienced that. They want to try the food and how they eat, sit on the floor and eat the food. They want to wear those costumes and dance with these fellows, you know. That's what I mean by immersion into and that's what creates experience. Okay, the new generation suffer from two things. One is FOMO, which is fear of being outdated, and FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. So there is always a competition in this generation that I have seen this and experienced it. I have a lot to tell you about this. And the other person is saying, oh, how lucky, and may want to replicate that experience again when they go. Okay, so there you go. So there is these things, shall I say, these kind of forces that are going with the young tourists. tourism experiences are replaced by virtual technologies. Now, people who cannot actually travel, there are virtual technologies. As a matter of fact, before you reach it, this is the modern age, this is the digital age, okay, where tourists sitting in their sofas in their living room will be able to see the destination through a wearable device, okay, and they will actually see what it will look like before they even book a flight. So these are the kind of developments that are taking place. Service delivery is turned into experience creation through emotional, physical, spiritual, and intellectual stimuli. Memories are created by experiences in entertainment, education, aesthetics, and escapism. Wi-Fi everywhere to enable blogs and videos to social circles in real time. By the way, the people, the traveling public, the people who are creating the content of all social media are the ones who are experiencing new things. So you will find in what is that, Instagram and all, people showing pictures of them in a funny, riding a yak or something like that, or dressed up in a Peruvian or Bolivian outfit, or dancing with these people, you know. This is, and they want it instant. As soon as they do it, they want to send it. Hey guys, I'm experiencing this. They're virtual friends around the world. Okay, so the content is being created by these people who are traveling. Memories are created by experience, yeah. And Wi-Fi has to be everywhere to be able to do what I was telling you they were wanting to do. So that's it, my dear friends. I've completed this. I hope it has been useful. And thank you. And if there are any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will sign off. Thank you. Pankaj, are you going to be handling the questions, or is Mr. Himanshu going to do that?
Hello, yes.
Are you going to monitor?
Sir.
Are you going to coordinate the questions?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm ready to answer any questions.
Hello. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful session.
I hope so. It was nice. It's new.
Sir, we have
me,
received a lot of appreciations regarding your lecture.
Oh, great.
There are lots of participants who have asked some questions.
Good.
Regarding the social tourism, that what kind of, so I would like to discuss few questions with you, sir. So one participant have asked.
Somebody has asked about mystery tourism.
What kind of, hello, am I audible, sir?
Very clear, very clear. Am I audible? I can hear you very clearly, Pankaj.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, am I audible, sir?
Very clearly, very clearly. Go ahead.
Okay, sir.
Everyone is saying thank you, my dear friends. I'm glad you appreciated this. But there's some questions also. Somebody asked a question. Okay, you manage this. Okay, tell me. Please give me their name also. Yeah.
Just a minute, sir. Sir, one participant is asking that please clarify the meaning of social tourism.
What?
Another one is
social tourism. I've just now given a whole lecture on that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. One next, sir.
No, I think somebody asked me, please tell me what is mystery tourism. That was
yes,
one
sir, mysterious question.
So I will, mystery tourism is going to a place which has not been discovered before or never been formally formally developed as a destination or something like that. So they go into a forest and disappear there, or go to an island and explore it there, and without any bookings or there, they'll camp it out, eat out of the ground or from whatever is available there. That is it. They like that kind of, shall I say, the little danger that is there and survival kind of things. So that is mystery tourism.
Sir, another question is, one participant Mr. Rajesh Deodia is asking,
Mm-hmm.
is social tourism and travel after COVID-19 pandemic, will it be forever change the tourism strategy to strengthen the hospitality sector?
Yes. Yes, it will be.
Sir, which type
See,
of social entrepreneurship can be established during this period? If established, would be sustained in the present situation?
I'm not understanding the question very much.
The question is, which type of social entrepreneurship can be established during this period?
Creating new destinations.
ക്ലാസ് എടുക്കുമ്പോൾ മോളിലേക്ക് വിടരുത് കാരണം ഒരു പുറത്ത് നിന്ന് പറ്റിയാ ഞാൻ കാണൂല.
Can you put this person to mute it? Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What I'm saying is, let me tell you all, gentlemen and ladies, that COVID-19, even with a vaccine, is not going to be over. It is going to be there and haunting humanity for a long, long time. Okay? As a matter of fact, there is a talk that they are going to have 2 seasons. One season of 6 months where we will be able to slowly step out of our comfort zones of lockdown, and explore. That's the time when people will be exploring. And the other time is when the second wave or the third wave or the fourth wave of COVID comes and attacks. Okay? So it's going to be a cyclic thing for quite some time. And frankly, neither you nor I nor anybody yet know how this COVID thing is going to behave in the future, because it's a new thing. Nobody knows this. Yes, a vaccine will be created, blah, blah, blah. Now the vaccine has to be reached out to a lot of people, and then that distribution of that vaccine will take some time. But this thing called COVID-19 will be lurking somewhere or the other. So the sentiment that has already been set in right now as a prevention to thing is to be cautious. And the cautious thing will be to go to places which are not crowded, for one, and go to places which are unique in the sense that people haven't seen it before, and there is nature around and freshness around, more pollution around. They like to go to such kind of places. A very popular place that one can develop, and I think in the South they are developing, is going to plantations, coffee plantations, tea plantations. Go to the plantation, you have the huts out there, you go and see these plantations, pick the coffee beans and the tea leaves along with those people, put that basket around your head, that experience, take a picture of it and send it to your vast virtual friendships around the world and say, hey, this is what I'm experiencing, that kind of thing. So whole new destinations are going to be formed. I'm sorry. And old destinations people will not be happy to go there anymore for a while.
Thank you, sir.
I answered
Sir,
your question.
Sir, just would like to take one last question. One
Yes,
Madam Jaya Misra is asking how
yes.
social tourism is different from sustainable community-based and responsible tourism forms.
It is not very different. I don't know if you saw my first slide that I sent you. It comes under social tourism, and you have all the. I had given a slide. Unfortunately, I've closed that presentation. But social tourism is a mix of sustainable tourism, eco-tourism, the other tourism I told you, heritage tourism, geotourism, all these tourisms, because they all have similar principles and similar guidelines with a certain amount of different focus, okay? So as long as those principles and guidelines are maintained, they are not very different from each other. It is only the focus on which you are putting there, okay? The focus you are putting there. See, when we say about community development also, sometimes it goes into the field of charity work. This is not the idea of social entrepreneurship, and it is not about charity work at all. It is sustainable development of a community forever. You see, it's a long-term plan and not a short-term plan. Okay, so this is what is very, very important. So they all have a common root. Okay, so whereas ecotourism will be concentrating on flora and fauna and protecting your nature. Something else, you talked about community development. Okay, it is part of that. Now, it's the attitude that you take towards that community development. If you're doing it as a voluntary thing, or if you're, that's one way of community development. You can be part of a social entrepreneur's total, shall I say, options that he has to use your skills for that, for the community skills for that, okay? So, so let's not break our heads on trying to get stuck in these distinctions, but follow the principles that are very important, the guidelines and principles. They apply
Yes,
to
sir.
all.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Pankaj, and thank you
for giving us time and delivering this wonderful lecture.
I'm so glad. I hope the faculty found it benefit, and I've been getting some good good feedback. Thank
Sir,
you,
lots of
friends.
feedbacks, lots. Yes, sir.
And thank you very much. It is it's a joy, and I hope I can come to visit you someday.
Sure, sir. Sure, sure. Thank you, sir.
And I don't think this will be the end.
You have accepted our invitation, and as well as you have delivered a very insightful and thoughtful, very full of examples. The lecture series was very much exciting among the participants, as well as we also very sincerely listen to you. And I'm very much thankful to Sudhir Andrew sir. Actually, I want to say my participants that it was a dream for me in IHM Bhubaneswar to meet Dr. Sudhir Andrew sir, as the first book I had received from my library, authored by Sudhir Andrew. The book was the first name which has given me Dr. Sudhir Andrew, and from the first day of my IHM, from that library only I had decided that I have one day will come, I will meet Sudhir Andrew sir, and I got that opportunity in my career. That's why I am very much thankful to you, sir, for your lovely, thoughtful, meaningful, as well as informative session. Thank you, sir. And in future also, I'll be seeking your help, guidance to develop the department in Mizoram University.
With pleasure.
Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University. Once again, we all are obliged. Sir, thank you, sir. Namaste, sir.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you very much. And I'll come again. Don't worry.